Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals are any shape that has four sides. So, if this has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So does this shape. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. They look completely different, but they're both quadrilaterals. So does this one. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Now, how do we tell the difference between quadrilaterals? Well, every quadrilateral is a specific type of quadrilateral, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. The different types of quadrilaterals. So, first quadrilateral that we're going to talk about is a parallelogram. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral that has all sides are parallel. So, what does parallel mean, if you don't know? Parallel means that you have two lines that even if they went on forever and ever and ever, would never cross. So if this line just keeps on going forever and ever, and this line keeps on going ever and ever, they're never going to get closer and cross. These two lines right here are not parallel, because if they kept going, they would eventually cross. But these two lines are perfectly straight, and they are going in the same direction, and they would never get closer or cross if they went on forever and ever. So, a parallelogram is a shape that is a quadrilateral with four sides where all the sides are parallel to each other. So, if we have these two lines are parallel, they will never touch, and then the other two sides are also parallel. This line will never touch, and this line will never touch, no matter how far it goes. They can also be a little bit sideways, like this one. So these two lines will never touch. No matter how far they go this way, and no matter how far they go that way, they will never touch. And neither will these lines. If I kept drawing this line all the way out and all the way out, they're perfectly straight and they will never get closer or further apart from each other. That is a parallelogram. That's all you need to know about parallelograms, is that is that the sides are parallel and they will never touch. The next shape we're going to be talking about that can be a quadrilateral is a rhombus. A rhombus is a four-sided figure where all the sides are the exact same length. So, this is a rhombus, hopefully. Close enough. All these sides are roughly the same length. That has to be a rhombus, okay? All the sides are the same length. So is this. Again, I know I'm not perfect, but the idea is that all these sides are exactly the same length. This is not a rhombus, because this side is clearly longer than this side. So these sides are not the same length. These four sides are. Same with this. These four sides are the same length. So that makes it a rhombus. The next quadrilateral we're going to be talking about is a trapezoid. Trapezoid is kind of like a parallelogram, but in a parallelogram, all the sides are parallel. These two lines are parallel with each other, and these two lines are parallel with each other. There cannot be two sides that are not parallel. A trapezoid only has one side, so this can be a trapezoid. Alright? even though these two lines are not the same length, this one is much shorter than this one, they are still parallel. If it kept going and going and going and going, they would never cross. And now to give it its four sides, to make it a quadrilateral, these two sides are clearly not parallel. If they kept going, they would eventually cross. So that's what makes it a trapezoid, because only two sides, these two sides are parallel. These two sides are not. Remember, that's different from a parallelogram in that all the sides are parallel. These are parallel and these are parallel. They will never cross. Same here. These are parallel with each other and these are parallel with each other. They will never cross. The next shape we're going to be talking about, or quadrilateral that we're going to be talking about, is a rectangle. A rectangle has four sides, and all the sides do not have to be equal. So as you can see, this side is clearly longer. These two sides are clearly longer than these two sides. A rectangle, the sides do not have to be equal. They can be, so like this. Most people will call it a square. It's also a rectangle. It's got four sides, and they are equal, but they do not have to be equal. Now, what also makes it a rectangle is all four corners, so we're going to look at the corners, are right angles. And remember what a right angle is. A right angle is when we can draw a box in that corner, or in that angle. All the corners are right angles. Same thing here. Four sides, and all four corners are right angles. So, a right angle, though, it has to have four right angles for it to be a rectangle. That's four sides and four right angles. That's what it means to be a rectangle. Four sides and four right angles. And the last one we're going to talk about is a square. Now, a square is a lot like a rectangle, except that all four sides have to be the same length. Remember, a rectangle, they don't have to be the same length, but they can be. But in a square, they have to be. So again, four equal sides, and same as a rectangle, all four angles have to be a right angle. So a square is equal four sides, all four sides are equal, and all four corners are right angles. Now, we need you to get your book out and open to page 311. And we're going to do this page. We're going to do the first three together, and then you're going to do the next ones by yourself. So, what we're going to do is look at these shapes. So this is the first shape, number one, that we're looking at. And we're going to go through each one of these and see which ones it is, and we're going to check the ones that it is. So let's look at this shape and look at our names. Quadrilateral. What do we know about a quadrilateral? A quadrilateral means it has four sides. Does this shape have four sides? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it does. So we check that one. Next is parallelogram. Parallelogram means all the sides are parallel, meaning the top and the bottom will never cross, and the two sides will never cross. And these are parallel to each other. Parallelogram. So we would check parallelogram. Next is a rhombus. And we learned that rhombus means that all the sides are equal. All the sides are equal on this shape. If we would measure them, they would be the exact same length. So we would check rhombus. Next is rectangle. And we remember that a rectangle means that it has four sides and all the corners are right angles. And if we try to draw a square in this corner, it does not make a square. So therefore it can't be a rectangle, and it's the same thing for a square. A square has to have right angles the same as a rectangle does. So that means we would not check rectangle or square. Now let's look at number 2. We're going to go through each one again and see what it is. First one is quadrilateral. Quadrilateral means it has 4 sides. Let's count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a quadrilateral. Next one is parallelogram. That means all the sides are parallel. The top and the bottom are parallel, because if I kept drawing a straight line, they would never cross each other. But the sides are not parallel. As you can see, they would eventually cross. So I do not check parallelogram. Is it a rhombus? Are all 4 sides equal? This one's kind of short, and this one's kind of long, and these are short. So all 4 sides are not the exact same length, so it's not a rhombus. Is it a rectangle? Remember, a rectangle has 4 sides, and all 4 corners we can make a square. Can we make a square there? In all of these corners? No, because that is not a square, that is not a square. So it's not a rectangle. Is it a trapezoid? A trapezoid is, let's look back and see what a trapezoid is. Trapezoid means that one side, at least that 2 of the sides are parallel, and the other 2 sides are not. Do we have at least one parallel side here? Yep, because the top and the bottom are parallel, and the sides are not. So therefore, it is a trapezoid. And then now we'll do number 3 together. Alright, number 3. Is it a quadrilateral? Remember, quadrilateral means 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So yes, it is a quadrilateral. Is it a parallelogram? That means that all the sides are parallel. If these 2 sides keep going and going and going forever, they never get closer, so they're parallel. And if these 2 sides keep going up and up and up, they never get closer, so they are parallel. So it is a parallelogram. A rhombus means that all 4 sides are equal. Are all these sides equal? Are they the same length? They look it, and if we would measure, we would know that yes, they are all equal sides. A rectangle means it has 4 sides and right angles in each corner. So we know it has 4 sides, and now can we make a square in each corner? I think I said rectangle, but we can make a square in each corner. That's a square, that's a square, because the corners are right angles. So that lets us know that it's a square, because we can make they are right angles, because we can make a square in them. So it is a rectangle. And is it a square? Remember, the only difference between square and a rectangle is a square, all 4 sides have to be equal. A rectangle, they do not. So, is it a square? Yes, it is, because it has right angles in every corner, and all 4 sides are equal. Alright? So, that's how we do that. And now you're going to do the rest of the page on your own. So we're going to look at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're going to answer the questions on Edpuzzle right now. We're going to check each box that applies to each shape. And remember, even though you're answering the questions on Edpuzzle, we also want you to put your answers in the book as you answer them on Edpuzzle. So make sure you check the boxes in the book of what you're picking.